Hi everyone, so today I'm gonna teach you how to drive a manual transmission or stick shift in this 2019 Mazda 3 hatchback 6-speed manual. So first, let's get into the car. And the most important thing that you have to notice is that a manual transmission has 3 pedals. So you have the one on your right, this is the gas pedal, so which is the same as the automatic. The second one, the middle one here, is your brake pedal, which is also the same as the one in the automatic, except it's smaller. It's around half the size of the one in your automatic because you have to save room for the left pedal over here, which is the clutch pedal. The clutch pedal is the main difference between the manual and the automatic. You have to use this a lot in the manual transmission. And this one in this car, so this 2 pedal, you have to use your right foot to operate the gas and the brake, and then you have to use your left foot to operate the clutch. And the first time you use the clutch, you may realize the clutch is a lot heavier than your brake and gas pedal. And every time you operate the clutch, you have to press it all the way in. I mean, it's all the way. You cannot just have it half the way or 80% in. No, you have to go all the way, 100%. So it's a good workout for your left foot. So now let's get in here. I try not to do this when I'm driving because of safety reason. So first of all, in this video, I'm mainly just gonna focus on how to start the car and how to stop. Just on this too. And first thing first, you have to make sure you are in a empty parking lot like this one. And make sure the surface is completely flat. You have to find a completely flat surface. Don't go on a hill to learn a manual transmission. So first thing first, you have to start the car. You have to press the clutch all the way in. Again, as you can see, 3 pedals. Push the clutch all the way in, and then you start the engine. And of course, before you start the engine, you have to make sure your shifter is in neutral position. So right now it's in neutral when your shifter can go left and right. And on this car, this is a 6-speed manual, so I know it's kind of hard to see. So first gear, of course, every time you shift, you have to press the clutch all the way in. So first gear is, as you can see, is on left, up. That's first gear. Second gear, you go back to neutral. Second gear is left, down. And then third gear is just straight up. And then for fourth gear, is just straight down. And then for fifth gear, you go right and up. That's fifth. For sixth gear is right down. So this is your traditional 6-speed. And then for the reverse, as you can see, is all the way on the left and then up. For this reverse, for beginners, it's very confusing between reverse and first gear because both of them is right up. But for reverse, actually you have to push, for this car you have to push the shifter down and then push it all the way left up. This is reverse. And one thing you can confirm is reverse is the backup camera will turn on, so you will know if you're in reverse or first gear. And for first gear, you don't have to push down the shifter, you just go left up. For reverse, you have to push it down all the way left and up. And for some cars, for example the Honda Civic, the reverse is all the way left and down. And for 5-speed manual, the reverse will be in place of the 6th gear. But of course, I'm not gonna go on the higher gear. I'm just mainly focused on first and second gear. So first of all, let's say you already turn on the engine, and then you have to put your right foot on the brake pedal, and then you release the parking brake. I don't have a handbrake. This is electronic, but same thing. And then make sure you put your right foot on the brake, and then you press the clutch all the way in, and then you put it in first gear. So now you're ready to go. Make sure, of course, you're in an empty parking lot, nobody's in front of you. And then now you're in first gear. What you want to do, let's say this is a completely flat surface, then you just you just take off your right foot because the car shouldn't go anywhere because this is a flat surface. And then what you want to do next is slowly release your left foot. And now when I say slowly, you really have to release it slowly and find the catching point or the engagement point. So when you reach the engagement point in this car is somewhere in the middle, around the middle between all the way in and all the way out. So somewhere in the middle. Of course, you have every time, if you're a beginner, you have to get used or get trained to find the catching point. This is the most important thing on how to drive a manual transmission, is to find the catching point on your car. So let's say so first you slowly release the clutch, and once you reach the catching point, your engine and your car will start to shake. And in this car and most other car, you can always look at the tachometer as a guide. The RPM is usually between 500 and 600 RPM. That's your engagement point. That's the RPM when you're reaching the engagement point. So on idle, your car should be around 1,000 RPM. But once you reach your catching point, the RPM will drop a little bit down to 600 RPM, and then your car will start to shake, and then your car would actually start to move forward by itself without even giving it gas. Even the low power car would do that if you're on a flat surface. This car would do that no problem because this one has it doesn't have a lot of torque, but 186 pound-feet of torque is quite sufficient to get this car moving without giving it gas. I actually do that most of the time, even on traffic. I just slowly release the clutch to get the car going without any gas, because the more gas you give in when you are using the clutch, the more clutch you will be burning. So if you push in the clutch and you give it gas at the same time, you will burn your clutch. So you may want to try to avoid that. But of course, if you're on a hill, you have to give it a little bit of gas. And if you're in a low power car, you also have to give it a little bit of gas even if you're on a flat surface. But if you're just learning, then I would say just forget about the gas first, because you don't want to confuse yourself. You just slowly release the clutch, very slowly. Once it reaches the catch-up point, then your car should start moving forward, and then you just continue to slowly release the clutch. And once you fully release the clutch, then just let go and your car should start moving forward. And after that, of course, you can just give it more gas if you want to speed up. And then once you reach around 10 and 15 miles per hour, you release the gas, push your clutch all the way in, and then you go second. So very simple. Same thing for third gear. One reminder is that you may want to shift between 2000 and 3000 RPM, but of course this is a personal preference and depends on your situation, your circumstances. Sometimes if you want to do a quick acceleration, you want to shift at maybe 4000 or even 5000 RPM. It's up to you. Same thing for downshift. When you downshift, you take out the gas pedal and then you clutch in, downshift. After you've done the shifting, you just release the clutch pedal and then continue to give it gas or brake, whatever you want to do. So let's say you shift from second to third, you let go of the gas, clutch in, third, and then fourth, fifth, sixth. Same thing if you want to downshift from 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And one thing I never do is to downshift into first. I never do that, and I never recommend people to do that because it will hurt your car and it's very jerky. So I would say never downshift into first gear. Some people don't even downshift. They just coast. They just put it in neutral when they see us. Let's say if they're in sixth gear, they just brake, and then when they see a stop sign or traffic light, they just slow down, and then they just put it in neutral and then brake. I personally don't do that. In some countries, it's illegal to coast, so you have to downshift. For me, I always downshift. Of course, you don't have to go through all six gears. You can just go six. You can skip gear, of course, in a manual. You can go six and then even third and then second, or six, four, two. It's up to you. Depends on your circumstances. And then when you, let's say you're in second gear, you want to stop. There's a stoplight. You just brake, of course. You brake as normally as you are in the automatic. You brake, and then when the RPM drops below 1000 or maybe 1500, you have to start to push in the clutch. And then um, if it's a stoplight, then you can put it in neutral and then just let go of the clutch and then just rest. If it's a long light, you don't want to hold the clutch in for too long because it hurts the car, hurts the clutch, and also your left foot would be very, very tired. um, so every time, yeah, for me, I just downshift, and then when the RPM drops low enough, you just put the clutch in and then neutral. So very straightforward. On a hill, it's more difficult, of course, but of course, when you learn how to start on a hill, first make sure you already master how to start on a flat surface first. It's basically the same operation. You just have a slightly quicker footwork. Your right foot has to move immediately from brake to gas. But a lot of new cars right now has the heel hold function, so it's not as difficult as the old cars anymore. But anyway, let me know if you have any question. So thanks for watching and have a nice day.